All right, welcome back to wagertalk.com. It's the Best Bet video part 2. You're going to get 3 more best bets in this one, and we're going to start it off with Ralph Michaels from Cal Sports. Ralph, you've got a best bet, North Carolina at Illinois. You've got North Carolina coming off that tough game with Georgia. What are you looking at here?
Well, you know, a lot of times I look at a good team and want to play them off a bounce back. Not the case here. North Carolina has a quarterback who was in the Green Bay camp this past year, Marquise Williams, threw for over 3,000 yards, rushed for almost 1,000 yards. Now Mitch Trubisky is a junior, some playing experience, but now they're playing their second straight road game. Last week, North Carolina ran 58 plays and only averaged 5.2 yards per play. That's not the offense you're accustomed to. These two teams played last year and the score was misleading at 48-14. North Carolina was laying 8 points at home with those 17 starters back last year. Now they're laying 9.5 to Illinois on the road, again, playing a second straight road game. Now, Lovie Smith has done a great job building up the program of Illinois. The players may not be there yet, but the excitement is. And a 7:30 game Eastern time on Big Ten Network doesn't mean anything to Ohio State, but it means something for Illinois. The fans will be excited. This team last week played Murray State. They crushed them. You can only play who's on the schedule. 8.0 yards per play. They allowed 2.7 yards per play. They held Murray State to minus 10 yards rushing on the game. The defense may only have 4 players back. 2 of their best players are transfers. Hardy Nickerson from Cal, who started over 20 games for the Bears. By the way, his dad's the DC here. And we have the Auburn transfer at defensive line, 3 TFLs, 2 sacks last week. And Dwayne Smoot he's a player who was there last year. He's on all 3 watch lists for defensive line. This Illinois team has something to play for. They have a very solid defense. They've got a great DC. They got a coach bringing excitement, and an overrated North Carolina team that everyone thinks Fedora runs anyone out on the field, they're going to have a great offense. Not the case this year. Yeah,
and coming off of getting blown out last year, the North Carolina kids could look past this game, and say, we blew this team out, not take them serious. Good stuff, Ralph. Do you have anything you want to promote this week at Wager Talk?
You know, I love college totals. I actually got off to a slow start going 1-2 in college totals last week. But I have my college totals game of the month going. It's a game I think the line is at least 10 points off. I'll have that up Friday by noon Eastern. It's going to be part of a great card.
All right, and you can check that out if you like all of Ralph's plays. Check it out, $69. You can get Thursday through Monday, get everything from Ralph. Let's go to Preston Sports Cheetah. You're going to go, what, another MAC game? It's the MAC week here at Wager Talk. You're looking at Akron at Louisville, and they're getting a bundle of points there, 24 against Wisconsin, and Wisconsin looked pretty good last week.
They did, or LSU just looked really, really bad. I guess that's the real question. And I'm not a straight situational guy. I have numbers that I'm going off of, and if the numbers don't make sense, I'm not just going to play against Wisconsin off of a big win. It's a nice bonus in this spot, but I actually have the number was line 21.5 for me, and I released it to clients yesterday at 25, and there's still 24.5s out and then 24s, and I think those are fine plays as well. Just don't take it if it goes under the 24. That could end up being a key number, but I really like the edge we have in the number. I like getting Wisconsin off of this huge win against LSU, which I think most people didn't expect at all. What I really like to see is, one, how good is Bart Houston? He didn't really look that great as far as being able to throw the ball and actually being a quarterback against LSU. Their defense was fantastic, and they were able to limit LSU in other parts of that game. I don't think it's a guy that's going to put up 40 against Akron, and I think Akron can score 14 or 17 just like LSU did against Wisconsin. They have a running back kid. Ralph might know better than me off the top of my head. Transfer from Miami. Do you know his name?
I don't.
It's all right. 110 yards on 18 carries last week. The name's slipping my mind, but he's fantastic. Akron actually has a decent offense. I think he had 4 transfers, 2 from Miami and 2 from another premier school.
JoJo Nateson from Utah State is dynamic wide receiver and return man. Yes,
so this Akron team has more talent than I think the Akron team of past, even just 2015. So I think it's going to be closer, and it's a game that I think, I don't think Wisconsin's ever getting over that number. Just not a team that I think is going to be putting up 40 to 50 with Bart Houston at quarterback, at least yet. So they'll hand it off to Clement. They'll try to get the game going with ball control and stuff, and Akron will be able to hang and stay within the 3.5 touchdowns.
And Coach Christ is not a guy that generally he's going to run up a score on a team too. And coming off that monumental win, it is a great situational spot. Like you said, you're not that big onto the situational spots, but it sure don't hurt when it's in your favor, and it definitely is. You got anything big going this week?
Yeah, so I guess this isn't actually my best bet of the week. I have a 5% wager talk play up for week 2. We had one in week 1 with South Alabama getting over 30 points. Mississippi State.
Go ahead, Bragg. You can.
And they may have
that
won the
one
game.
You can.
Yeah, outright. So I have another one up. Week 2, 5% play. I only had about 6 last year, probably be a similar range this year, but I just happened to have back-to-back weeks, so I really like the play in the side. It is a play on the side, it's not a total. So yeah, grab that if you want, and yeah, that's everything.
Did you send the Dr. Peppers to the university like you promised if they held on?
I did say I would do that. I got to get in contact with the AD over there and get it sorted.
For my best bet, I'm not going into MAC, guys, but I'm going to go with a team that, for the NFL is probably the MAC equivalent. I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Jacksonville's a sexy pick with a lot of people this year in the NFL in that division. People are expecting them to play better. I do expect them to play better. I like what Blake Bortles did last year. 35 touchdown passes in his second season in the NFL. That was tremendous. But what I like about this team is they gained a lot of experience last year. And what people don't look at, and I haven't heard anybody else really bring this point out, they were 5-11 last year. Did you go back and look at the schedule they played? They opened the season up with 2 home games. They went 1-1. Okay, nice. All right, a team that hasn't done anything. We start the year 1-1. That's good for Jacksonville because they're usually 0-2 to start the season. But then they went on a stretch where 6 of their next 7 games were on the road. It was murderous. They had 3 straight road games at New England, at Indianapolis, a division game, and then Tampa, an in-state rival. They get a home game against Houston, another division rival, and then they go on the road. It was technically a home game, but they played Buffalo in London. Come back home and play another, or don't come back home, go back out on the road and play the Jets in Baltimore. That would kill a good team, having that stretch right out of the gate. And they still went 5-11, and you saw progress from Bortles. I think this team is in a good spot here. Green Bay, always going to be overrated. The public's going to love Green Bay. Opening week, you got Rodgers back. He's got a security blanket back with the wide receiver, Jordy Nelson, from the injury last year. Everybody's going to want them. A stat in this one, and I'll thank my buddy Ralph, he pointed it out to me on this one. Green Bay, as good as they were last year, they were outgained by 59 yards a game on the road last year. They only outgained 2 opponents on the road. The Detroit Lions, who were bad last year at the beginning of the season, good at the end of the season, they outgained them by 7. And San Francisco, who was just hideous last year, they outgained by 167. So this is a team that doesn't play good on the road. And the other part is you got a Lambeau team. You got a team that plays in a cooler climate. Even though it's still summer, you're going to Jacksonville the first week of the season where it's going to be hot and humid. Guys, the first week of the NFL season, you've got all these starters that now have to go the distance and play 4 quarters. Nobody plays 4 quarters in preseason football. You don't have that conditioning that you would have a couple weeks into the season. To use a horse racing term, the players aren't totally tight yet. Like, you get a horse tight for racing. And in that humid and heat, they're going to fade in the second half. And I think you got a young ball club, excited, home underdog on opening day. I'm going to go with Jacksonville. I'm going to take the points, and I'm not going to be surprised if they get the outright upset. So that's my play for this week. And guys, we've got that coupon code, Brady10. Hey, if you want to use it on me this weekend, check out the Weekend All Access. We've got going a nice 28-11 run with football dating back to last season. And we hit our 5% last week. It was close with BYU. We dominated but had to rally late, but we got the money. We've got a 5% going on Saturday. There's a college football game I like a lot on Saturday. Check it out at wagertalk.com. That's it for this week. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week with more free videos here at Wager Talk.